Hey, Marcia, thanks for your questions. And let me start at the end. The last question, I promise. I want these questions. You help me clarify what it is I need to focus on. Because sometimes you get so close to a problem, you can't see what needs to be addressed. So these videos that I'm making are helping me clarify my own thoughts about what you're talking about here, about putting these videos on the MacLab page. I need to build an entirely new, how-to use Game On, all the videos that walk people through the functions. But there's two problems. Number one is what I mentioned about being too close to the problem. But number two is Mick is a coding machine, and Game On keeps evolving. And for over 6 months, I've meant to start this, and I'm so glad I didn't because it keeps evolving. We're getting close to a more stable period where we can start just adding features again. But Mick's working really hard on the reader right now, and that will be the final piece in the puzzle, along with that save button that I talked about. And then I'll get to the brand new how-to. So this page, this discussion is helping me clarify those thoughts. All right, so as far as the minimum, I expect the kids to do the daily quest, and I expect them to do the weekly digital portfolio entries. But the rest of the minimum, the third piece of that is what of the design challenges, and I think that's what you're talking about here, the design challenges, what do you want to focus on? Photography, videography, animation, illustration, whatever it is, I want you to pick a direction and work on that. So there are kind of three legs to that, along with the rubric. Try your best, don't give up, learn from your mistakes, play by the rules. So that gives them more than enough to do, as well as a lot of choice in what they will do. Okay, and as for portfolio sites, we used Behance last year, and in prior years, we've used virtually everything. And this year, we're just using the blog. The built-in blog that's built right into Game On. It will continue to become more and more refined, but the idea is we want to make it easy for teachers to review student work and give students feedback. And right now, it's not as effective as it can be, but once this reader comes into play, oh, you guys are going to love this. And so using the built-in blog is a great way to have students document their work. So the work in progress portion does work. It's just that you have to undo things. It's clumsy right now. So that's where we're at, because Mick and I know where this is heading. So we kind of jumped on this to pioneer it, and we're finding out what works, what doesn't work, what needs to happen. So this is where I think a lot of people are really going to like the built-in blog in Game On, because it really helps streamline the process of reviewing student work. And now, as far as collecting PSD and AI files, excuse me, I asked the kids to upload JPEGs, of course, on their blogs, their digital portfolio entries. But when it comes time for reviewing the work in order to get the bonus loot, that what I talked about with the passwords here in this video, that's when the understanding we have, I've got all kinds of videos telling them this, is when you call me over, I not only want to see those JPEGs sitting there and what you wrote, but I want to see the original files opened on your desktop. So I want the PSDs or AIs open, and then we go through them one by one. And I'm looking at the layers, and you work enough with these programs, you know how you've taught the kids to work. You can look at the layer stack. You can see the organization. You can tell whether or not a student is, in fact, following instructions. Plus, because there's no direct instruction and all my instruction is delivered via videos, it's easy for me to observe either from my desk or walking around the room, and I can see how kids are working. So yeah, that's That's important. And yeah, open up the Finder. I want to see where your files are. What are your naming conventions? Are you using best practices? And yeah, so that's more of a one-on-one. And in the past, I've shied away from one-on-ones, but I found I wasn't getting enough interaction with the kids. And I will still occasionally, that kid who works facing the wall because of the way our weird classroom is set up, who never gets off task, sometimes I don't even know what they look like. It's always a shock. You're in my class? So this way, I get more one-on-one time and get to know the kids a little better. So everyone, keep the questions coming because you help refine this. And hopefully, we can all, working together, come up with better ways to serve our students, streamline our practices, and make learning more inspiring, engaging, and empowering for the kids.